Welcome everybody back to the Get Geeked Podcast. We are at episode 51, I believe. Yes, episode 51. Now, before I start, the song we just heard is Smash on Sight. I forget the name of the song only because I know that they only had one demo, and I totally forgot like names of all their songs. So, and then the demo that I had, it's off a live show, and it didn't have names on the songs list itself. So, I apologize to you guys. I am good friends with Smash on Sight as well. Rest in peace to the singer. He's passed away a while back. Speaking of passing away, I want to take the first couple moments to do a moment of silence for another homie who just passed, Joel, or I usually call him Baby Joel or Little Joel. He was a good friend of ours, a good friend of mine's, and he just passed away a few days ago. So with that said, just a small moment of silence for him. Yep, and I just want to give out well wishes and good thoughts and prayers and whatever you believe in, that's, in good faith, towards the Carrillo family. Yeah, I don't know, like, I was speechless when I heard about it, and I really don't have much to say about it. Just that it sucks, stuff like this sucks. Stuff like death sucks, especially when the person who passed away is younger than you. Like, you expect, like, for me, I expected that I would be gone first before he would be gone, and well, it didn't play out that way, right? Life, dude, life is freaking weird, and it's like, and it sucks because there's bad people out there who takes away people that you love. So that's why you always kind of have to be careful sometimes. That's why I'm always scared of people. That's why I'm scared of people, because you don't know who's the crazy one who's gonna be out there doing stupid things, and just willing to take another person's life, right? Like, I don't know, like, it sucks, dude. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to speak too much on it. I know little about it. I just know the things that I know, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to speak too much on it. It sucks that it happens, and I just want to wish well to the family that lost a son, a brother, an uncle, and for me, for this show, we'll just leave it at that. But I do have two topics to talk about. I just finished watching Demon Slayer, and the UFC had their first quarantine fights, and then also the WWE just had Money in the Bank. I think we'll start with there. We'll start there. We'll go UFC. Now, I thought, because there's gonna be no crowd there, and it's only the fighters, the trainers, and anybody else who's working for the UFC there. And I thought it would be kind of weird. I mean, it was kind of weird, just a little bit, but I still kind of enjoyed it. Like, cause you basically, for me, in fighting and combat sports, you watch it for the combat itself, and as long as there's good combat happening inside the ring or inside the octagon, whatever you want to call it, it's still good. Like, I enjoyed each fight, because each fight was kind of like amazing to watch. You had high level fighters, You had Cruz going against Triple C, and then you had Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson, and then a few other fights too. Which there was. Gosh, I wish I remembered who the female fighters were, but I know one was the Karate Hottie. I only know her by her nickname, and then the other girl. But the other girl won, which was kind of crazy because I was kind of behind Karate Hottie just because, I don't know, kind of biased, you know, Asians rooting for Asians. What are you gonna do? But you know, she lost, but it was a really close fight, and it could have went either way, but. Yeah, congrats to the winner though, and Gaethje beat Ferguson, which was nutty because Ferguson is like the only like he has a wild, crazy style, unique to just himself. No one fights like him. He also has stamina to go all 5 rounds if he needs to, and he really, like, to tell you the truth, he really didn't quit. The referee stopped the fight, so still big ups to him. He still has a big heart, even though like you could see Gaethje just like towards the later rounds was just demolishing Ferguson's face, and you can see it in Ferguson's face after the fight compared to Gaethje's face, which had barely any marks on it. So congrats to Gaethje. Like, I would never expect. I don't know why Ferguson didn't try to take Gaethje to the ground. He stood up and banged with Gaethje, and Gaethje's known for knockout power. Although, like, on a few fights already, Gaethje has gotten caught because he gets a little too comfortable towards the later rounds. But it looks like Gaethje has learned this lesson and changed his game plan, and is now more focused towards the later round. Well, just in this fight itself. So I don't know. And so now we get to look forward to Gaethje versus Nurmagomedov, which is going to be nutty. I still think Nurmagomedov is going to win, only because I don't see anyone having a answer to the way he fights. Like, I don't know. He's a ground and pounder, but once he gets you to the ground, he has this way of keeping you on the ground. You're not gonna get back up. It's ridiculous. And seeing the Conor fight where he fought Conor, it shows that he has hitting power, because at one point he almost had Conor seeing stars. Like, he stumbled him with like a good overhand right, which was pretty crazy. And then once again, like, once he got Conor to the ground, it was just like, you knew the fight was over, and you saw it coming, and you're just like, there goes the legs. He's wrapping it up like an anaconda, like you're not getting out. There goes the arms. He's tiring up Conor's arms, and then you see his arm just reaching around Conor's neck, and then once you see the clench of the elbow joint with the hands, you just like, you knew Conor was giving up. Like, it was just, you knew that was what was coming. And so I'm just wondering if Gaethje even has a plan for that, if Gaethje even has a ground game, because I haven't really followed too much of Gaethje, but I've never seen Gaethje fight on the ground. So I don't know if he has an answer to Nurmagomedov's ground game. So, but still though, exciting news for the future. There was good fights all around. The whole, UFC fights. It was good. It was fun to watch. Sure, you don't get that much of like an energy from the crowd, but even still though, sometimes for me, when I watch fights with the crowd there, because they're rooting for the other person, it kind of like, I don't know, makes the fight kind of weird. So just to have it like quiet and only the commentators talk about the fights itself, and just seeing the fight go down, it was refreshing almost in a little ways. At least for me, I had no problems with it. It was still entertaining to watch. So I gotta say, it was pretty cool. Now, with that said, because that's UFC, that's real fighting. Now let's get into pro wrestling, the pro wrestling world. And I'm still going to have to kind of compare WWE to AEW, because even though AEW hasn't done their next pay-per-view yet, which was kind of set to come pretty soon, they had to kind of delay it a bit because they followed the rules more than the WWE did, because WWE kind of used their influence on Florida State to allow them to keep taping, and like kind of went around the back end to do their tapings and stuff like that. So they got to do their pay-per-view first, whereas AEW kind of just followed the rules and just like, you know, stay quarantined. And a lot of the fighters on the AEW roster are sticking with the quarantine laws and are staying home and deciding not to fight. And a few of them are there at their studios fighting, putting up a good show. Now, with that said, the last AEW Dynamite show was kind of an awesome show. Now, compared to everything that WWE has done lately, I thought Dynamite was leaps and bounds and ends kind of more entertaining to watch than what WWE has done. Because, I don't know, for some weird reason, the story, like, I don't know who's writing for WWE, but they need to step up their game. Because I don't know if it's the storyline that's kind of lacking, or just not good storylines and no one cares, or they're just doing dumb things that just seems like nonsense, you know. But there's only a couple of good storylines in the WWE world on Raw and SmackDown combined, and AEW only has one show, which is Dynamite. And even though AEW doesn't really have a through storyline yet, I mean, they are kind of cultivating and growing the storyline a little bit. But with that small, tiny bit of storyline, you're more I myself, because I guess I can't speak for everybody, but I myself find myself more invested in the AEW storyline, which is a small storyline because there's not many storylines yet. But the fighting and the fighting and the show that they put on at AEW, it's just more exciting and fun to watch. Even though their storyline is small, where when you watch SmackDown and Raw, a lot of times I find myself on my phone just not caring, because it's just like, I don't know, like, I want to care because there's fighters that I enjoy, and there's fighters that I kind of want to see grow. And not just that too, but I feel like WWE has a where they do it too much, where they bury they have a tendency to bury the wrestlers that fans want to see succeed. But instead of having them succeed, they go ahead and bury them. Like, they just like throw dirt on them and just make them look really bad. And then you start getting uninterested. And then, you know, it sucks because, like, Ricochet was like an up and comer, and I was excited to see Ricochet on Raw or SmackDown, doesn't matter where. But I wanted to see him go far, and they're just burying Ricochet left and right. It sucks. And then there was Aleister Black, which is another good one. Even though they're not really burying Aleister Black, they're not giving him anything really good to do. They're just keeping him at a level place, mid-card almost. And I believe he could do more than just mid-card work. Aleister Black is an amazing wrestler with great skills, and it's exciting to watch. I've seen him in NXT in matches that were just bonkers, just like amazing. To me, 5-star wrestling match. And then as soon as he came over to Raw, he hasn't done anything. You know, like, it sucks. What are you gonna do? I don't know. But yeah, but with that said though, like, comparing wise, now WWE has kind of gone ahead of AEW, and they did their first pay-per-view, which is Money in the Bank. So let's get into Money in the Bank. No crowd once again because of the whole quarantine thing, which, you know, they've done some good shows without crowds, and a lot of their shows are kind of weird and iffy. But if you go and look at AEW, they kind of remedied that by letting other stars kind of be the crowd. Like, a lot of the wrestlers are out there kind of being the crowd, which kind of fills in that spot, right? So I like AEW is doing that better than WWE, where WWE, all they have are the commentators and nobody else. So the Money in the Bank, some of their matches were just kind of weird and lackluster because there's no crowd, and then the entrance is kind of weird because a lot of their entrances are based on crowd work, kind of. But with that said, let's just move that aside and let's just focus on the match. They had a couple of good matches. I gotta say that the tag team match that they had in the beginning was good. I do disagree with them giving the belt back to the New Day, only because when you watch the match, the New Day weren't really doing much. Like, there was nothing happening much with them that, I don't know, was exciting or anything. The rest of the other teams were doing much better work, because even Morrison and the Miz, they were doing work with the Lucha House Parties that were just like exciting to watch. And then I forget what the name of the new tag team that's there. I don't know. It's like they came from NXT, I believe, but like even they had a better outing in the fights. The only thing I really disagree was they had 3 people there, and one was outside, not part of the match, but they kicked him out of the fighting area because of why, I don't know. It's a mixed tag, or not mixed, it's a no rules tag team, 4-way, or was it 4-way or 5? I believe it was a 4-way match. So there's no rules, so he's allowed to be there. Why are they able to kick him out? Like, I don't know. It was just kind of weird. But even still, though, it was still a good match, even though I disagreed with the outcome. So, New Day is still the tag team champions, and that's, or I guess that's kind of fine, because the only thing is that I feel like that's the one thing that the WWE are lacking, is their attention to the tag team divisions. Like, and a lot of people agree and says the same thing. It seems like the WWE just does not care about the tag team division, which, if you also notice too, the women's tag teams there was no matches for the women's tag team at Money in the Bank. So what happened there, right? The show also began with the pre-show where Jeff Hardy fought the Swiss guy. I forget his name, but Jeff Hardy won. Okay match, like mid-card stuff. It wasn't that crazy. Then you went to the women's SmackDown Championship match. Was there a match before that? I forget. I don't know. I'm just gonna go all over the place here because I watched it quickly and I'm not gonna remember everything. But that was kind of a weird match in itself. And to tell you the truth, I'm really not gonna go through all the matches anyways. I might just go over the ones that I kind of liked. So I might just, because that match, the Becky versus what's her name, it was weird. There was like interference that didn't get called out, and then Becky, not Becky, wasn't even Becky. What's her name? You know what? Forget about that match because it sucked. I didn't like it at all. They could have done so much better. And there's the other thing. Where was Becky Lynch? How come she didn't have a match? Like, where was the women's title, holder? Because that's the weird thing too. SmackDown Championship didn't have a match. SmackDown Championship didn't have a match. The US title didn't have a match. Kind of weird. Raw Tag Team. Where was the Raw Tag Team Championships? this pay-per-view was a little strange. I felt like they forgot a lot of things going into this pay-per-view, but maybe it's because they were just testing it out to see how well it did. And I'm gonna tell you, like, it didn't really do that well. And then you had Seth Rollins versus the Raw champion, and that was a weird match too. Okay, let's forget about that because I didn't like that matchup at all. It was so weird and dumb. I don't know. Throw that out the window. You had Bray Wyatt versus gosh, I'm forgetting all their names, but that was actually a good match. Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman. That was actually a pretty good match, only because I'm a Bray Wyatt fan. I think he does great work, and this does great. They did a good job on setting up the Fiend versus Braun Strowman, because now you're building up this like heat and this steam and this hatred in Bray Wyatt for Braun Strowman, because Braun Strowman used to be part of the Bray Wyatt faction. He used to be part of the Wyatt family, and somehow broke off and did his own thing, and now he's the SmackDown championship, or he's the SmackDown champion. And Bray Wyatt feels like, Braun Strowman kind of betrayed him in a ways, and having this match and Braun Strowman winning kind of stamps that hatred into Bray Wyatt. So I look forward to seeing the next SmackDown to see what Bray Wyatt does, if he brings in the Fiend, if the Fiend goes after Bray Wyatt, or not Bray Wyatt, goes after Braun Strowman. And if Braun Strowman is actually strong enough to beat the Fiend. I mean, yeah, Braun Strowman beat Goldberg beat the Fiend, but I feel like that Goldberg versus the Fiend match was kind of just like an offshoot, because they really messed it up with that whole thing. And also because that was like the show that they had over there where no one cared about. Like, it's just strange. I don't know, but let's just say I'm looking forward to this storyline. This is a storyline that I hope they do not mess up. I hope that they follow through with this storyline and let's Bray Wyatt do what he wants to do with that, because I even enjoyed the WrestleMania part where Bray Wyatt or the Fiend fought John Cena, even though it wasn't really a fight. It was kind of like a weird psychedelic showing of a fight, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope they kind of do something like that with the Fiend and Braun Strowman. So I look forward to them kind of growing that storyline and letting it do what it needs to do, and let Bray Wyatt do what he needs to do with that. So up to the people over there at SmackDown, even though they've been having a really bad showing over there in SmackDown. SmackDown has been so boring. Raw has its ups and downs, but has had more ups. They had better storylines. They had better fights. Whereas SmackDown, I'm just like, I've even caught myself just like, I'll watch it next week, because I just don't care what happens over there in SmackDown. There's nothing new or exciting. But now with this whole Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman thing, I feel myself wanting to kind of tune in, like, on the day of now. So, I'm hoping they do the right thing and let them run with that storyline. Now, before, let me just soak my throat real quick. On to the actual Money in the Bank match. I've seen all over online. Some people like it. Some people are in my camp. I thought it was dumb. I'm sorry to say. They did this whole like Scooby-Doo chasing each other through the WWE's headquarters building, racing all the way to the top to get to the ring thing. So like they went through each door, people looking through each door, people were like fighting together through doors into offices, and people were making like their kind of like weird inserts, because they had like Brother Love show up in the bathroom. They had Doink the Clown somewhere in an office room. Vince McMahon shows up in his office. Stephanie McMahon shows up in another office. I don't know. They had a fake Money in the Bank office too, and where one of the girls thought they got the briefcase, but it wasn't the right briefcase because you had to actually go to the roof. Oh, excuse me. Where they had an actual wrestling ring, and that's where the real briefcase was. So I don't know. To me, I just felt it was lame. I didn't like it. I mean, because it's supposed to be like mimic a street fight kind of, but through a building. Whereas AEW Dynamite had their first kind of almost street fight, and I thought that was done better because that was more exciting and fun to watch. Just because the spots they did were just much more entertaining to watch. These spots were kind of weird, and I don't know, it just seemed corny to me. I don't know, I didn't like it really. And then once they got to the ring, it was more weirdness because you had Corbin throwing 2 people off the roof, and they didn't really show if they actually fell off the roof or not, so you're left to think like, oh, maybe they did fall off the roof, or maybe there's a smaller roof on the other side and they just fell on that or whatever. So you think Aleister Black and Aleister Black and 619 the 619 guy, gosh, Rey Mysterio. You think Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black got tossed off the roof, but you don't know. And then yeah, so it was just a strange match. And then so at the end of it all, you have Asuka winning the women's Money in the Bank, and then you have Otis winning the men's Money in the Bank, which is also a weird controversy because in the before Otis got the briefcase, it was AJ Styles and Corbin going for it. And the thing is I thought it's whoever takes it off of the clip. I didn't know it's all about who ends up controlling it, I guess. So I guess it's whoever has control of it at the end. But yeah, so because AJ Styles and Corbin both took it off the clip, but then Corbin gets hit in the back by a guitar by Elias, and then AJ Styles fumbles the case, and then it lands in Otis's hands. So Otis is now Mr. Money in the Bank. Asuka is now Mrs. Money in the Bank, and yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Otis is a tag team wrestler. Is he gonna go towards singles now? Are they breaking up that team, or is he even allowed to use that as a tag team? Like, can he go for the tag team championships? We're gonna have to wait and find out and see, and that's not till SmackDown. Which, to tell you the truth, I don't really care. Just because that team just has never really done anything for me. I guess it's not towards my demographics, you know. So I don't really care for that team. I don't know. But we'll see what happens there. Asuka also, like, she's been beaten already. Like, they took away a lot of her mysticism. I know that her teammate is about ready to leave, or I don't know if she might have been released with all the other people who's been released from their contracts, or I'm not sure what happened there. So she might be, solo now as well. But who is she gonna face? Like, what would be a good storyline for her to do? Is she gonna go for the SmackDown's champion? Is she gonna go after Becky Lynch? Becky Lynch has beat her already. Or maybe they allow her to beat Becky Lynch now. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I kind of wanted to see someone else get the win, but maybe they have other storylines for the other girls. So who knows? But yeah, at the end of it all, I thought it was a weird Money in the Bank, to tell you the truth. For me, it was kind of like mid-range. Not horrible. I've seen worse pay-per-views, but nowhere near good at all. So if I gotta rank it like 1 out of 10, it's definitely like a 5, maybe even a 4. So yeah, I don't know, but that's my reaction, my review of WWE's Money in the Bank. Now I kind of want to see what AEW does. I want to see if they could top that, because I know their pay-per-view is coming up soon, and they have some pretty cool matches coming up, and I can't wait to see what they do with that. And also, I want to see if any of the wrestlers are going to come out of quarantine to take part in any of this, because I would like to see the Young Bucks come back into play. I want to see the Jurassic Express come back into play, and a few other people that's been staying home because of quarantine. Other than that, everyone else that's still wrestling over there at AEW has been putting up a really good show. I know Moxley is gonna fight Brody Lee for the AEW Championship, and I don't know what the Inner Circle is doing. I don't know what Chris Jericho is doing, but I kind of want to see what they are going to do, because that would be cool to see. And they always have a good Rumble match in the beginning of all their pay-per-views, so I'm looking forward to that. I want to see Orange Cassidy get back into play, and yeah, it's like it's weird how I'm more excited for something that AEW is going to do than I was for this Money in the Bank. And then as soon as I saw Money in the Bank, I was just like unimpressed. But I'm excited to see what AEW is going to do, even though it's going to be not, nothing regular, because people are still going to be under quarantine, and they're going to have to do this pay-per-view somehow within those parameters. So I don't know, but I'm still excited to see that. Now, so there's my thoughts on Money in the Bank and wrestling and UFC and stuff. With that said, during this whole quarantine thing, I've been searching for stuff to watch, and I've been told a long time ago to watch Demon Slayer, even read Demon Slayer, and I was just like, I don't know. But finally found the chance and the time to do it. It was kind of crazy because I binged. For one thing, the show itself only has one season as of right now, 26 episodes. So if you haven't watched it, you still can and catch up pretty quickly. Although the manga has been running and has more, I don't know what you would call it, episodes, chapters, I don't know, more books than there are episodes on the show. But I have to say, I end up loving it. The show was cool. Although, here's the thing, there's a caveat, because it was weird, because I started watching it in English dub, and it was kind of still weird. It was a little bit weird. So I was like, okay, let me just try watching it regular form and just watching it in English subtitles. Enjoyed it way much more with the subtitles, because I don't know, for some weird reason, when they English dub it, the grammar that they use is a little different. The voices are just much more cartoony, whereas when I watched it as subtitles, it was more epic sounding, and the grammar was a little more easily readable. Like, the grammar was better in English subs than it was in the in the dub version, which is weird, because you think, English, they would do better in English, but no, opposite. It was, I don't know, it was strange, but yeah. And so, because I watched the first 5 episodes in dubbed, and I went back and I rewatched it again in subtitles, and then I finished the whole thing with English subtitles. So I gotta say, much more enjoyable in English subtitles. So, and yeah, here's the thing for me, is like, for first of all, you kind of have to grasp me, especially within anime, you have to grasp me at least towards the ending of the first episode, or if not, I've given some animes like first 3 episodes to get me engaged, but usually I'll get engaged by the ending of the first episode, and this one did it. The storyline was good. The supporting characters were really great, and that's the other part too. Is you'll get connected with the main character, but a lot of times supporting characters are so important within anything, anime, shows, whatever, movies, and this one did it well. gradually brought in supporting characters that you kind of you got connected with, and they were funny. There was heartfelt moments. You felt for the main character. You felt for the main character's sister. You wanted to see what happens. And even though I don't know if there's going to be a second season, and I hope there will be, because a lot of animes do this. They'll do one whole season and sometimes not even ever do a second season, because it doesn't gain traction quick enough for it to relay back to Japan, to where they realize like, oh, it's actually a money maker, and then they just let it go. But some animes do gain traction really quickly, and then it translates back, and they realize, oh, it is a money maker, and so they continue to make more. But so I don't know if Demon Slayer has gained traction fast enough here to translate back to Japan, but I hope it does, because I enjoyed the hell out of this. I want to see a second season, because I am kind of invested in the storyline now. I want to see the protagonists meet the antagonists again and have their big battle. I want to see them engage more into the magic and fighting style that they're doing, because that's the cool thing about this too. It has like an equal amount of magic and real style fighting, and mysticisms and lores and stuff like that. It deals with demons. It deals with evil arts, magical arts, and stuff like that. Like all the stuff that kind of excites me and tickles my fancy. So, without spoiling it at all, it was just amazing. Like, it was, I want to say it felt like fairy tale almost, but more darker, and more of like, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's kind of like Tokyo Ghoul meets fairy tale meets what's the one that I'm thinking of? Vampire Slayer, or no, Vampire Hunter. Yeah. So it's like those three kind of mixed and meld together, which I don't know if any of you guys seen any of those animes, but I mean, but at the end of it all, I gotta say, I really do enjoy. I really did enjoy Demon Slayer. A really good anime a really good anime show that I've seen in a long while, because it's been a while since I've dug my fingers into any anime lately. So it was really, really good. I wish I probably should have watched it earlier when my nephews and stuff were telling me about it, because it ended up being really good. And now we just sit and wait and see if there's a second season to come, because you just never know with these Japanese anime companies. I know that the manga is still ongoing, so if you do watch the show and enjoy it, you could always get into the manga, and because the storyline continues within the manga. So yeah, 1 out of 10 good. I want to give this a 9 out of 10. Certain things that I might have done a little differently, but other than that, it was almost perfect. So 9 out of 10. I really suggest it if you are into anime or just animated cartoons or anything like that. Give it a try. I don't know if you're the type of person who doesn't mind to read like I do. So if you don't mind reading, I really suggest watching it in English subtitles. I feel like the sound and the voices are much more epic in that way, whereas the English dub, they kind of kitty it down, dumb it down a little bit to make it more cartoony. I don't know, that's just me. It could just be me, but I mean, give it a try. But yeah, 9 out of 10, Demon Slayer, give it a watch. With that said, though, kind of brings me to the end of the podcast. This basically kind of all I've done this whole week. I'm still working through the whole quarantine times. So I'm just always busy, crazy things happening in life and stuff like that. So what can you do but just keep on moving, you know? Take the memories of the ones you love and that are gone, and just keep moving, keep going, keep striving to do more and do better. You know, keep the good memories good, and just keep on going where you need to go, and just shoot for the moon if you need to shoot for the moon. You know what I'm saying? If you're new around here, I want to say hello. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you can. Help a brother out. Still trying to move up to 100 subscribers if I can in any ways. It's really slow going. But yeah. And with that said, everybody out there, I want to thank you. Much love. Just keep it healthy, keep it safe, and you know, connect with the ones you love. Let them know that you still love them. Let them know they're still around. But keep it safe and keep yourself healthy. And with that said, I'll see you guys all on the next episode. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you liked the video you guys just watched. And if you did, please do not hesitate to hit that like button and that subscribe button. And then tell a friend. And if you guys want to see more videos, check them out below. I should have 2 other videos to check out. We have other stuff to see on this channel. And with that said, we thank you guys all for watching. And we'll check you guys out laters.